If Whoopi Goldberg gave you her word, could you trust her to keep it? Now, according to what she said on The View this week, you can't. Now you ask, why does it matter? I don't know Whoopi, and she's certainly never going to give me her word about anything. It matters more than you think. This is Brad Bright. Welcome to the God is Issue podcast, where I show how God is the issue in every issue. Now, Whoopi consistently reveals her broken view of God, and she did it again this week. Here's what she said about Joe Biden breaking his word when he pardoned his son Hunter.
Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. And I think the more stuff that went down, I think he said, well, why am I busting my behind to stay straight and do this when nobody else is?
Why am I busting my behind to stay straight when nobody else is? Wow. That was a crystal clear admission that she even thinks that Biden broke his word. That was also Whoopi's compelling rationalization for why Joe Biden was justified in intentionally going back on his word, also known as lying, by the way. Now, Whoopi feels it's okay to break your word if everyone else is doing it. Apparently, Whoopi could care less about what God says. God's view is irrelevant. God's standard is just total dog poop. That's the damning implication of her statement. And yet earlier this year, this is what Whoopi said about lying.
God is pretty clear. Here's the stuff that'll make your life better on earth. Here's the don't lie.
God was pretty clear. Don't lie. That's what she said. In other words, she knows what God says, but she doesn't care about God's opinion unless he agrees with her. Now, otherwise, why would you quote God as an authority on one occasion and then completely dismiss what God says on another? Let me play you one more clip from a couple years ago and showcasing how Whoopi feels about God's opinion once again. In this case, she is talking about the issue of abortion.
Nothing to do with your religion. This is not a religious issue. This is a human issue.
This is not a religious issue. This is a human issue. Translation: God's opinion on abortion doesn't matter. Why? Because God's opinion does not line up with hers. Again, to Whoopi, what God thinks is irrelevant unless he happens to agree with her. Clearly, she feels that her feelings are superior to God's. Do you realize that Lucifer felt the exact same way? I know that's harsh, but it's also very true. But let's go back to the first clip. In that clip, she broadcast to all Americans that she feels it's okay to intentionally go back on your word if you believe everyone else is breaking theirs. In other words, your integrity and your word are founded not on God, but on survival of the fittest. Whatever advances your survival is your North Star. In a survival of the fittest world, no one can count on you keeping your word. And Whoopi is okay with that as long as you're not on her naughty list. Of course, if you're on her naughty list, meaning you disagree with her, then you're a bad person. That's the world according to Whoopi. Now, folks, unfortunately, that's not just the world according to Whoopi. This is the world we live in. I simply use Whoopi to highlight the problem. But as followers of Jesus, we must be shrewd about how we live in that world, always praying that we won't be seduced by it. That's why Jesus told his disciples to be as shrewd as snakes, but as innocent as doves. And now, folks, in order to stay innocent, you also have to be shrewd so that you don't get sucked in by emotion-based arguments that seek to manipulate you. James 1:27 exhorts us with these words: pure and genuine faith in the sight of God and God the Father means caring for the orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Joe Biden intentionally broke his word. No one disputes that. But many folks like Whoopi only make it worse by trying to say that bad is good. See, Biden claims to be a Catholic, but he has let the world so corrupt him on so many different levels, and this is just the most recent example. But folks, don't be deceived. This could happen to any of us if we don't work hard to keep our eyes on Jesus. Now, here are three things that we as followers of Jesus must always cling to. First, God is the foundation for our moral integrity, not cultural norms, not survival of the fittest, not our feelings. The reason we strive to not lie or to not break our word is because the God of truth is our North Star. Second, it is never okay to sin just because everyone else is doing it. As followers of Jesus, we must trust in our all-powerful, sovereign, righteous God to give us wisdom and courage even when everyone around us is living according to a moral system birthed in the ooze of survival of the fittest. Third, daily ask God to help you to be as shrewd as a snake so that you can be as innocent as a dove. You see, the world needs followers of Jesus to shine his light in the darkness. Folks, shine shrewdly so that you can shine brightly. Today, take a moment to pray for Whoopi Goldberg and Joe Biden. Their problem is not their view of truth. Their problem is their view of God. Someday they will encounter God face to face and realize that he always keeps his word. And apart from a relationship with Jesus, it will be a very, very harsh realization. God is the issue in every issue. This is Brad Bright. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this podcast helpful, please like and subscribe. And when subscribing, don't forget to click on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I publish a new podcast. And please don't forget to share it. God bless. And may God enable you to become as shrewd as a snake so that you can remain as innocent as a dove.